Welcome to round 8 of NEA2 brought to you by FWL. We are a little late into quali due to some technological problems on my end. However, here we are. We have a quick recap of what's happened so far. We have Davey in P1 with a 104.5. We have Shaxon P2 with a 105.0. We have Dakota in P3 with a 105.3 and Jim Cab in P4 with a 105.4. As we watch our top two drivers on their out laps. Do we have any drivers on a lap currently? We have Echo on a lap, who just joined in a couple minutes ago. And here we go. Very smoothly into turn 4. Good exit. Nice on the power. Pretty good so far. We do have that Red Bull in front, which is on a lap, it looks like. Unless that's Davey. Or... no, it's not. Okay. The Alpine into the final turn. Nice exit. Can't go too wide. Across the line, and it's a jump to P4 with a 105.3. Beautiful stuff. Right. And he is dropped down to no, he's fine. I don't think it was dropped. Let's see. Dave Need. Oh, I'm just gonna call him Dave. Make my life easier. As on provisional poll, we have Dave in the Red Bull, who has done really good this entire qualifying session. Can we see an improvement on their lap? We go yellow sector 3, that's probably cars getting out the way. We have the Mercedes up ahead, who I'm sure is on their who's on the lap. Must have coming into the pits. On their end though, because they came in. And no improvement. Oh, 106. The McLaren of Shax goes by, I'm assuming. It was not Shax, it was Nasher. As we ride on board with Shax, he seems to be recharging the ERS, yep. I do believe Nasher is on the lap, so we can go on board with Nasher. We ride on board with Nasher. Who else do we have on a lap? Let's see. We have the half on the lap of Dakota. Still goes to complete the lap. There is a 105.6. Cannot do any better the first time out. The Jim Cab who goes out on the lap. Down the straight, through turn 2, coming up to turn 3, nice on the brakes. Beautiful job on the exit. We go down into turn 4. Beautiful job this lap by Jim Cab. Here we go. They turned 7. And then 8, I'm assuming. And Jim Cab puts it up into P6 with a 105.1. Beautiful stuff from Jim Cab. Seems like nobody can really knock that 105.4 from, or that 104.5 from Dave. We have Shaq's diving into the pits. We have Cabbage, who is the closest with a 104.62. Anybody we have on the lap? We do have someone disqualified, which I didn't see that till now. We have Echo out on the lap. Let's right on board with Echo for the last step in their lap. So let's see where Echo puts it. I haven't seen their time. And a 104.7 from Echo. Improvement by 5 tenths jumps them up into P3 in the Alpine for a 104.7. Looks like we might actually have a last minute battle for P1. If we have the Red Bull still in the pits, we have the Cabbage. We have Cabbage in the Alfa Romeo, who's going out on an outlap. He's on that outlap with 4 laps on their tires, so fresh tires, as we can see what they can do with these tires. So let's see, in the last 2 minutes of qualifying, we have a half line pass right now. Assuming that's Dakota on their outlap. Doesn't look like a big enough gap. Here comes Cabbage there. We're right on board with Cabbage. So their final lap of this qualifying session. We set the 2, couple yellow flags. Up on his lap, it's lowered by a 10. And then can Cabbage make it up? Ran it too wide, and the lap won't count. And it was so slow. There's Dave who's on there. Our final lap, here we go, riding on board through Sector 2. We'll ride off board for a bit. As Echo's really confident that that lap will secure them P3. That they don't need to go out for another lap. Dave went out for another lap because Cabbage was so close to their lap. And to try to improve, here we go, down the final turn, with the other Red Bull in the way. Coming down to the line, it's a 104.5, improved by 33, no, not 33. Oh well. Does improve though, stays on provisional pole. Assuming Cabbage is coming into the pits. Cabbage is done, Echo is done, Shax is done. We have the Mercedes coming in at the end is up by 2/10 on their lap, and they drop Shax down in the P5 and turn P4. Beautiful job in qualifying.
How do you guys save your...
And that is our qualifying results. We have Dave in P1, Cabbage in P2, and Echo in P3. Beautiful run by our top three. Here we are at the race as our drivers are picking out their strategies. As we get going with the formation lap. So we already have a disqualification on the formation lap. Is James the Great, our winner in Mexico. So that's not good. We have Echo. So our top five. Oh, we have two more disqualifications. We have Max Power and Callum as well, stuck on the grid, so they would not get to warm up their tires. We have Davney in P1, we have Cabbage in P2, Echo in P3, 42 Yam in P4, Shax in P5, in P6 we have Jim Cab, in P7 we have Mark, in P8 we have Nasher, in P9 we have Domino, in P10 we have James the Great, in P11 we have King Hamilton, in P12 we have Max Power, and in P13 we have Callum. As the drivers are taking their positions on the starting grid. We have another disqualification. We have another disqualification. And the 5 lights are on, and it's lights out, and away we go. Davney gets a better start, followed by Cabbage. Oh, okay. Here comes Cabbage into the outside, into the inside. On the hard tire, we have Echo coming at him. Here we go. Down to the run into turn 3. Echo gets alongside, goes down the inside. Can he get the move done? Echo's just barely hanging on. We do have some collisions. We have bits of the Haas coming off. We have I assume the Red Bull is fine. We have a couple moves as Shaq loses out some places to Jim Cab. And Shaq's teammate is coming along into this. We have amazing stuff going on into these first couple of laps. And we have Jim Cab off into the gravel. And we have a VSC come out. We have a DNF on track. So after all that, we have Dave in first. In P1, we have Echo in P2, Cabbage in P3. It seems like Dave is going to be using most likely the medium to soft strategy, or the medium to hard strategy, and it seems like Cabbage will be doing medium, hard mediums or hard softs. As we have Echo, who will be doing soft hards, I'm assuming, as that could be the only thing. And DRS is enabled and the VSC is done. Here we go, down into turn 3. Who gets the better exit? Dave has a good exit, but so does Echo. Echo with the DRS and the ERS comes down into turn 4, not close enough yet. Takes a different line than Dave. And as we run down into turn number 6, field is pretty decent. And we go down the main straight. Cabbage with a 108.5, a 108.3, 107.8 is our fastest lap, and it's currently by Nasher. Here we go down the straight, approaching turn 2. We go through turn 2. Goes down the inside. Can he get a stop? He can. Takes the DRS. Gets a better exit. Puts down the power as he's right on board. Close enough? No, he's not. Will he try something else? Can't try anything. Something happened with the Red Bull. We have Nasher, who's gaining on Mark and the other Alpine. And we have Dakota, who's gaining ever so quickly to Shax. We have Eka, who takes the fastest lap. Mark, who takes the fastest lap with a 106.8. We go down the straight again with the DRS. Can Echo do anything? Echo's been using a lot of the DRS down the inside. Gets the DRS. Takes a nice line in. Nice exit. Doesn't decide to go for the move. We have Mark down in P8, Mark down in P9, Mark's in the wall. We have Dakota in P7, who's trying to make a move on Shax. Here we go. And we have Nasser up ahead down the road. We have Jim Cab, who just passed Mart, who is stuck in the wall. And we have Dakota, who's just riding the rear wing of that McLaren of Shaq's. Here we go down the main straight. Down the main straight. Willa moves to try. Tries the outside line. Can't get it in. And Shaq stays ahead. But here we go. Down to turn 4. Nicer exit than Shaq's. On the DRS as we ride on board. Will not be close enough this lap. But I do sense a move coming in the next couple of laps. As we have the Mercedes, who's also tailing the gearbox of Cabbage. These two have been going at it. Cabbage gets ahead of Echo. Echo's trying to fight it back. Echo can fight it back coming down into the main straight and down that long back straight. We have, and that long straight. Echo comes into the pits because those soft tires just cannot hold on any longer. And Shaq's is greeted with a 3-second penalty for track infringements. And we have Shaq's and Domino, who still are going at it. Domino is so close to Shaq's and has yet to be able to make a move. But the Mercedes goes down for a move. Takes P2 away from Cabbage. Cabbage is going to try to fight that back. Can he fight it back? Here we go down into the turn. Cabbage is ahead. Coming into turn 4 and Cabbage stays ahead. We have Dakota, who's still trying to get past that McLaren is fast, who's giving everything to not let Dakota pass. Here we are on lap 7. And James the Great is given a 3-second time penalty for track infringements, as we have the Mercedes who's riding the gearbox of that Alfa Romeo. Down the main street, we also have Dakota, who's just riding the gearbox. We have Hamilton. We have collision with Cabbage, and I'm assuming the Mercedes, as Cabbage gets all out of shape. That leaves room for Nasher to come in and attack the Alfa Romeo. And we have Dakota, who's making their move on both of the McLarens, has contact with the McLaren of Nasher and goes off into the runoff. Very ambitious from Dakota. We have a spin. It was the halves of James the Great. We go down. Another thing in Sector 3, we have Shax, who finally gets ahead of Cabbage. But a little too late because he gave Cabbage the DRS and Cabbage goes down. Down this straight, Cabbage will probably take the inside line. Or they'll just take a smart, take the outside, try to switch it back in, take the DRS. Then we go down to turn 4. We have Nasher with the DRS, probably trying to spray the collision. As we go down into turn 4, here we go into the braking. Jax is going to try to hold it. Cabbage has to take the outside line, which does not work out because Shaq stays ahead, and we have great battling going on for P3 in this race. comes down the straight. We have, I assume that's a lapped car. Is going to try to unlap themselves. The Alpine of Mark, that'll get in the way of Cabbage, as blue flag should be waved. So Mark is going to go unlap themselves on brand new medium tires. Here they go, running on to Shaq. Down the inside they go, and they've unlapped themselves from Shaq's. They have 2 more drivers to go. Unless they get smacked with blue flags here. We have the Mercedes into the pits, who pit on brand new medium tires. We have our race leader who's 7 seconds ahead of Shaxx and just building that gap up even more. And currently in a class of their own. We have Jib Cab, who sets the fastest lap of a 1:06.7. Here we go into the pits with our race leader. We have Shaxx. Shaxx, who takes the lead of this race on 11 lap old hard tires. We have Dakota, who enters P2. We have Dave, who comes out possibly ahead of Cabbage. Cabbage, who comes into the pits. Dave comes out ahead of the Alpine of Echo and the Mercedes of 40. Assuming the McLaren will pit this lap, and most likely Dakota will also pit this lap. Oh, they were lapping the LP. Let's see who's closest. We have Shaxx, who leads the race, followed by Domino and Dave. Although Shaxx and Domino have yet to pit, so if Shaxx continues to stay out, wonder how long they'll run these hard tires for. Domino also elects to stay out. Continuing on with those older medium tires. as we have James the Great with another 3-second penalty for track infringements again. We have Dave, who's catching Dakota in the Haas ahead in the DRS range. Here we go. We still have that Alpine trying to unlap themselves, but just can't. Is going to have to move out the way for Dave. Dakota goes into the pits after 15 laps. Let's see, we do have somebody who actually has DRS, which is Domino, who is right on the back of Cabbage. Domino's going to try to make the soft tires work for the next 10 laps. As we also have the Mercedes, who goes alongside the Alpine and who goes ahead of the Alpine. We have Domino coming down into the main straight. Here we go. It's nice on the power. Takes the inside. Here we go. Easily gets past Cabbage in the Alfa Romeo. So Cabbage is going to have a run down this straight with the DRS. We have the Mercedes who gets past, and he's trying to go wheel to wheel, going into turn 7, into turn 6, through turn 7 now. As they keep going, we have Cabbage who gets back ahead of Domino. We have thrilling battles going on for P3 in this race, as we have Shax who finally goes into the pits. We have the Alpine still ahead of the Mercedes. The Mercedes is going to try it down the inside. Goes down and in and perfectly fine. The Alpine, a little bit of contact, but it was more of a love kiss. Here we go. Cabbage still ahead of Domino. Domino does get ahead. Cabbage will swoop in, take that back. Here we go down the straight with the ERS and the DRS. We have the Mercedes still ahead. We have the Alfa Romeo who's still ahead, but maybe not for long, as we have Domino who swings it. Dakota tries to hang out the outside line, but he goes up in the turn 6. Has to concede the place, but will try to fight that back later on in the lap. We have the Mercedes who's still hunting the Alpine down on those fresher tires. Can the difference be made? We have an Alpine who was in the wall, assuming that's Mark. Mark spun it. Here we go. Down the straight. Echo gets a penalty for track infringements. Here we go straight down. It'll be a drag race 2-turn. And it is the Mercedes ahead. However, the Alpine has more ERS and DRS. Here we go. Down into turn 4, the Alpine swoops ahead and goes ahead of the Mercedes. Actually, the Mercedes will try to hang it out the outside, can hang it out the outside, and stays ahead of the Alpine. Great stuff going on here. We have the Alpine who tries to go ahead through turn 6, cannot get ahead, and down into turn 7, we still have The Mercedes ahead of the Alpine. As we have Dakota and Cabbage still fighting it out. We have the Haas who tries to go down the inside. Can't go down the inside. Cabbage gets a 3-second penalty for track infringement. And Echo, who's just trying ever so desperately to get ahead of that Mercedes, who's just desperately holding on to P2. We have the Haas who goes ahead of the Alfa Romeo. Will the Alfa Romeo be able to fight it back? Here we go down to turn 3. Plays it safe. Nice little love tap. Takes that nice line on the inside. Lets us get on throttle. Here we go down to turn 4. And it is the Alfa Romeo yet again ahead of the Haas. And I bet the Haas is getting a little bit frustrated here because they can't seem to pull away from that Alfa Romeo. And it's a really tight battle for P5 in this race currently. With 5 laps left to go. Here we go. The Haas is going to try another move. Probably sending it down right here. Thinks better of it. Shax with the fastest lap of a 106.6. Who's 8 seconds ahead of these guys. These guys are just battling it out for P5. Here we go. Again, the Haas goes down into turn 1 ahead of the Alfa Romeo. The Alfa Romeo will fight it back. Echo gets ahead of the Mercedes and takes the DRS to probably pull away. We have Shax in the background who's catching the pack. And we have the Mercedes who runs it really wide. And Dakota, who's still fighting back against Cabbage. This is great stuff going down into turn number 6. Shax, who's 1.6 seconds away. Will we see a fight with Shax in the upcoming laps? As the Mercedes is catching is chasing the back of that Alpine, catching and catching and catching. We have Cabbage who continues to fight with Domino, going down the run into turn 3. Domino does get the DRS now. Will they play it safe? Yeah, alongside, but Domino runs it a little too far. Outbreaks themselves. Cabbage goes down. Takes the position. Domino is 1.6 away. We have the Mercedes who continues to fight this. And we have Shax who's entered the fight in DRS range with 8/10 on the fresher medium tires compared to both of these 2 cars ahead. As we go on board with the Mercedes of 40. Just loses it out, and that gives Shax a rundown on the Mercedes. Shax is going to get ahead. Here we go down into turn 4. Shax is ahead of the Mercedes, and he's now chasing the Alpine of Echo for P2. Thrilling stuff going into these last couple of laps. We have Domino who's right back on the gearbox of Cabbage. Beautiful stuff coming into these last couple of laps. Domino gets ahead going into turn 6. And Shax has the DRS. Opts not to use it. There we go, uses it a bit. Down the inside. Gets a nice run on. Continues to keep the DRS. And leaves Echo at a disadvantage because Echo can't fight this back. And the Mercedes comes at Echo now. And it's a three-way fight for P2 in this race. We have Cabbage, who still is chasing down Domino. Thrilling stuff as the Mercedes is under threat by the Alpine. We have Cabbage, who gets ahead of Domino but runs it too wide. And Domino is going to take the position back. Cabbage is going to try to fight this back as we go down into turn number 4 with Domino, who just can't get it out. We have 40, who's losing out to the McLaren ahead. The McLaren ahead is pulling away. We have Echo, who's trying desperately to get ahead of this Mercedes. As we enter the penultimate lap of this race, we still have the Haas and the Alfa Romeo still fighting it out. And we have the Alpine and the Mercedes who keep going at it. Thrilling stuff into these last couple of laps as the Alpine gets ahead. But the Mercedes is going to try to fight this one back as Cabbage gets ahead of the Haas. And going down into turn number 3. As the Mercedes still cannot get ahead of the Alpine. Oh no, the Alpine got ahead. The Mercedes is trying to fight back. Dakota is trying to swing it around the outside. Takes the outside line, takes it beautifully. Is just right there with Cabbage. Here we go, down into turn 6. A little earlier on the break, we try to keep it in the inside, cannot keep it in the inside, so keeps the break. Here we go. Continues to ride it down. As we enter the final lap of this race, we have our race leader, who has just been in a class of their own this entire race, approaching turn number 3. We have the Mercedes, who still tries to fight this one, who will not let P3 slip away from them. And there's contact between the two, as Echo is spun round by 40. Definitely there will be things said about that. And we have Cabbage and Dakota, who just... Cabbage has finally broken away from the DRS. Cabbage is safe. We have King Hamilton now, trying to fight Jim Cab for these last couple of places. P8 and P7 is our final fight of the day. We have James the Great, who gets ahead of the Red Bull of Max Power. Here we go down into the run for P4 to turn 4. King Hamilton is not close enough this time around. It's Davey who wins today's Grand Prix by a beautiful margin, and Shax who comes to bring it in second. P3 we have 40, and P4 we have Echo, and P5 we have Cabbage, who's finally breaking away. It was finally broken away from Dakota. And P6, give it up for Dakota, and P7 we have Jim Cab. And we have another 3-second penalty for Mark Gray for track infringements, who's already done because he was lapped. We have Jim Cab, who finishes it in P7. King Hamilton, who finishes it in P8. James the Great, who rounds the final turn to finish this race in P9. And Max Power. What a race from Dave. Perfect strategy from Dave. Perfect weekend from Dave. Could not have gone any better. I believe the fastest lap did go to Shaq, so that is an extra point on top of that. Round of applause for our top 3, which is 40 Shaq. And our race winner today here in Austria for round 8 of NEA2's division, we have Dave. Beautiful stuff. With multiple 3-second time penalties on the grid, we have our unofficial race results. And as we look at our race director, these are our drivers. Here's our incidents. And yep. Thank you for watching FWL's NEA2 division in Austria tonight. And we wish you all a great rest of your day. I've been Roach, and I will see you next week when we go to, I believe we are going to Miami next week for round number 9. So I will see you guys in Miami. This has been Roach, and it was great being here with you guys.